There's a man in rural Ohio who has spent 11 years restoring a 1967 Chevrolet Camaro. He works on it every Saturday morning, sometimes Sunday afternoons too. The car is almost finished. The paint is perfect. The engine runs cleaner than it did the day it left the factory. He has no intention of ever driving it. If you heard that and thought, why would anyone do that? You're asking the wrong question. The right question is, what does it feel like to spend 11 years bringing something back to life, knowing you'll never take it anywhere? Because the answer to that question reveals something about grief, about legacy, about the very specific way certain people choose to stay alive inside their own lives. And here's what nobody talks about. The car was never really the point. Across the country, in garages and driveways and rented storage units, there are people doing exactly this, restoring vehicles they don't plan to sell, don't plan to show, and don't plan to drive. Some of them couldn't tell you precisely why they started. They just knew they had to. Psychologists have a term for this kind of behavior, restorative engagement. It describes the act of returning something broken or neglected to a state of wholeness, not for practical use, but for the psychological experience of the restoration itself. For most of these people, the story doesn't start in the garage. It starts with a specific car from a specific time in their life. A father's car parked in the same spot every night. A grandfather's truck they used to ride in the bed of on summer evenings before anyone worried about that kind of thing. A car they saw on a road once when they were 8 years old and never forgot. These cars aren't just cars, they're time machines with license plates. And the restoration isn't a hobby, it's an argument with the past, a slow, careful insistence that something worth keeping should not have been lost. Psychologists who study object attachment, particularly the work coming out of the field of material culture, have found something striking. When people lose someone they love, they often redirect grief onto the objects that person left behind. A watch, a coat, a car. And they don't do this passively. They don't just keep the object. They tend to it. They fix it. They spend years in a relationship with it, because caring for the object is a way of continuing a relationship that death or distance or time has formally ended. The man in Ohio, his father drove a '67 Camaro. It wasn't the same car, but it was close enough. But grief only explains part of it. There's another layer that has nothing to do with loss and everything to do with how certain people are wired to find meaning. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the researcher who identified the concept of flow, spent decades studying what makes people feel most alive. His answer was consistent. Not achievement, not reward, not finishing. The experience of being completely absorbed in a task that is just difficult enough to demand everything you have. For people who restore cars, the garage is one of the few places modern life still offers that. There's no notification, no metric, no performance review. There's a problem that will not cooperate, and there's you, and there's the quiet satisfaction of progress measured in millimeters. Here's the part that trips people up. If the car is never going to be driven, isn't the whole project pointless? That question assumes the point was always to drive the car. But for the people doing this, the point was something else entirely. The point was the process of making something permanent in a world that keeps changing. The point was to leave behind proof that they were here, that they paid attention, that they cared enough to do something difficult and do it right. Anthropologists call this legacy creation, the human drive to create objects or experiences that outlast us. It's the same impulse that builds cathedrals and plants orchards and writes letters that won't be read for decades. The car that never gets driven is still going somewhere. It's going forward in time. How it shows up. Watch someone who restores cars outside of the garage and you'll notice things. They're patient in ways that unsettle people who aren't. They can sit with an unresolved problem for months, returning to it the way you return to a difficult book. Not frustrated, just steady. They tend to be skeptical of quick fixes in every area of life, not because they're pessimistic, but because they've spent years learning that shortcuts always reveal themselves eventually. That rust you painted over always comes back. That misaligned panel always catches the light wrong. Their threshold for what counts as finished is very different from most people's. They're also often quietly resistant to the idea that something is truly beyond saving. This shows up at work. It shows up in how they approach relationships. The belief that with enough patience and the right tools, almost anything broken can be made whole again. That's not just a philosophy about cars. The emotional dimension. There's something else worth sitting with. Restoration is one of the only activities in modern life where the passage of time makes something more meaningful, not less. The longer you work on something, the more of yourself is embedded in it now. Every panel you've straightened, every part you've sourced from a salvage yard 3 states away, every Saturday morning you chose to show up, all of that is inside the car now. It's no longer just a machine. It's a record of attention. And for people who grew up in households where attention was scarce, where care was inconsistent, where things fell apart and stayed that way, the act of giving something sustained, patient, loving attention can be quietly radical. The car becomes the relationship they always knew how to have: reliable, honest, responsive to effort. So the next time someone tells you they've spent years restoring a car they'll never drive, and you feel the urge to ask why, consider what you're really seeing. You're seeing someone who found a way to grieve without falling apart, someone who discovered that the mind needs problems with real solutions, someone who chose to create something beautiful and lasting in a culture that has almost entirely given up on both of those things. You're seeing someone who decided that the process of caring, slow, imperfect, unglamorous caring, was worth more than the destination. That's not a waste of 11 years. That's maybe the most honest thing a person can do with them. We live in a world that rewards the finished thing, the launch, the reveal, the before and after, but there is a quieter kind of person who has figured out that the real life is in the middle, in the Saturday mornings, in the problem that keeps you up, not with anxiety, but with something closer to anticipation, in the relationship you have with something that asks nothing of you except that you show up and pay attention. The car will never go anywhere, but the person restoring it, they're already somewhere most people never find. If this one landed somewhere, you'll probably feel the same way about the video on people who'd rather fix something than replace it. I'll link that one here. And if you want to support what we're building, there's a join button below. It genuinely makes these possible.